The library smelled of aged paper and dust, a scent Illyria had grown to love over the years. Rows upon rows of leather-bound volumes lined the tall shelves, stretching toward the ceiling where chandeliers flickered dim golden light. Outside, the city was quiet, but inside, a storm of anticipation hummed under the surface. Illyria could feel it in her chest, the subtle tension that always accompanied brilliance and the faint danger that accompanied theft. She moved silently between the shelves, careful to avoid the creaking floorboards. Every step was deliberate. The old wood complained under weight, announcing her presence to the empty hall. She paused near a shelf, peering around the corner. Her eyes fell on him, Bastien Delacroix, the man whose reputation preceded him like a shadow larger than his frame. He was unaware she watched, bent over a manuscript so delicate it seemed a relic of some lost civilization rather than the first draft of what would become a modern masterpiece. Bastien's fingers glided over the pages with a practiced reverence, tracing lines of text as though the letters themselves might whisper secrets if handled correctly. Illyria's breath caught. She had studied him from afar for months, cataloging his habits, his patterns, the rhythm of his work. But tonight, something felt off. The manuscript was not merely on his desk, it was positioned like bait, tempting someone to take it. She remembered the warning her mentor had given her years ago. When brilliance tempts greed, the theft is never obvious. It's in the silence before the act. The sound came first, a faint scuffing of shoes against polished wood. Illyria tensed, her heart thrumming in her ears. Bastien's back was still turned. He hummed under his breath, unaware of the intruder creeping closer. Illyria pressed herself against the shadow of the nearest bookshelf, her hand brushing against the rough leather of an ancient tome. The smell of its pages mingled with the scent of candle wax and dust, a sensory anchor, keeping her grounded even as her mind raced. From the corner of her eye, she caught the movement, a figure stepping softly, gloved hands brushing against the edge of the desk. The intruder's technique was practiced, precise, almost reverent in its own way, but there was a coldness in it, an absence of hesitation that set Illyria's nerves on fire. Whoever this was, they weren't here to admire the manuscript. They were here to possess it. The intruder lifted the manuscript, holding it delicately as though it might shatter in their hands. Illyria's stomach dropped. She knew she had seconds, maybe less. The shadows that once protected her now threatened to betray her, and the familiar library, once a sanctuary, became a trap. Bastien finally noticed the movement behind him. His head jerked up, eyes widening in shock, and in that instant, Illyria made a choice. She stepped forward, breaking cover. "Stop!" Her voice was sharp, commanding, cutting through the silence like a blade. The intruder froze, eyes flicking toward her. Bastien's hands shot forward, reaching for the manuscript. Chaos erupted in a fraction of a second. The manuscript teetered, then tipped, landing squarely in Illyria's extended hands. The intruder cursed under their breath, retreating with a swiftness that was almost supernatural. Illyria's heart pounded as she backed toward Bastien, keeping the precious manuscript between them. Bastien's face was pale, disbelief etched into every line. You protected it," he stammered, awe and gratitude mingling in his tone. "I don't know who you are, but thank you." Illyria's eyes narrowed slightly, her mind already cataloging the encounter. Gratitude was irrelevant. What mattered was the pattern, the intention, the breach. Whoever had tried to steal the manuscript tonight had made a critical error, and she intended to ensure they never repeated it. The candlelight flickered once more, casting long shadows that danced across the shelves. Illyria knew, as she glanced at Bastien, that this night was only the beginning. The manuscript, precious and fragile, was more than just a collection of words. It was a key to ambition, obsession, and betrayal, and someone would pay to possess it. Her gaze hardened. "We have work to do," she whispered, more to herself than to Bastien. Because the next move, it won't be this obvious.
Welcome to Red Stories. Please subscribe, share, like, comment.